Good morning everyone, we are from Group 5. Today we are going to present our study about the method of preservation and adaptive reuse of heritage shop house in Jalan Tun Hesli to preserve its place identity. This study aims to understand the relationship between preservation and adaptive reuse to minimize the changes in the local community lifestyle in Jalan Tun Hesli by suggesting workable strategies to solve the loss of place identity. To provide a better understanding of the issue, site visit, literature review, and case study were done to collect more observation and information. For introduction for our study, a significant thoroughfare in Kuala Lumpur known today as Jalan Tun Hesli has seen merchant and customer go up and down for centuries. Our finding from the site inspection at Jalan Tun Hesli indicate that certain Chinese shop house, particularly those built in classic style of the pre-war era, have lost their significance and are currently vacant. Besides, traces of nature's mark the ages of the early traditional styles, and unique features of the shop house has been destroyed. The original building is reused for new purpose and renovated into architectural styles that do not blend into the street culture's assets. Some of the buildings were vandalized by irresponsible people, which affect the architecture and the identity of the building. Besides that, fewer local visits and work there, causing the street to be seen as Bangladesh or Nepalese street. Moreover, this street used to have residents living at upper level of the shop house, but now the number is decreasing. However, a high number of foreign construction workers are found living in that area due to the development of new projects. Lastly, many local businesses are declining or moving off the street because of bad business.
Thanks, Farahin. The three keywords that we figured out from our topic are preservation, adaptive reuse, and place identity. Preservation means the act of keeping historical value as it is to prevent it from decaying or protect it from damage or destruction. Adaptive reuse is the process of taking existing shop house and adapting it for new use or purpose while preserving its historical properties. Place identity refers to the deep relationship between an individual's identity and place, consisting a unique combination of intrinsic characteristics to make it unique. Now we move to the conceptual framework. So we had thought the place identity issue into two categories, which are architecture aspect and also community aspect. For the architecture part, we want to concern on the condition of the shop house. The problem that we found on the traditional shop house are some of the shop house being abandoned and some of the building skin had occurred deviation. So the solution for these problems is using adaptive reuse for the shop house to restore place identity. For the community aspect, the two problems that we found on the street is the disappearing of local and also changing of the community lifestyle. The solution for the problems will be promoting local connection and applying new business mood to traditional business. So there are three methods for us to done with this assignment, which are site visit, literature review, and case study. Firstly, we went to Jalan Tun Hesli to observe and understand the current condition of the site. Besides, the method that we use is literature review to enhance understanding and collect relevant information and method to restore place identity in Jalan Tun Hesli. Thirdly, we had done a lot of case study to generate an in-depth, multi-phase understanding on the method to preserve the place identity of Jalan Tun Hesli. Yeah, so now I will pass to JY.
Thanks, Janelle. So overall, we have figured out three research questions. So now let's talk about the first and the most important research question. How will adaptive reuse restore place identity? The first issue of this question is about the abandonment of Chinese traditional shop houses. Some Chinese shop houses in the traditional style of pre-war period have ceased and are now abandoned, defaced, and destroyed. The solution to this problem is converting pre-war shop houses into boutique hotels, which can generate revenue for the owners and also be in the line with KLCT's house intention to conserve heritage buildings. At the same time, it can also help in the rejuvenation of the area. Besides, unused buildings need to be taken care of and propose adaptive reuse of the buildings to attract more activity patterns, thereby increasing socio-economic growth in the city. So there is a good example that we want to share is the Lee Rubber Building in Jalan Tun Lee. This building was used by the Japanese government as the headquarters of the Japanese secret police during World War II. After that, it was then renovated into a bookstore and tuition center. And this building was vacated a few months later. Nevertheless, the Kuala Lumpur City Hall bylaw prohibits the demolition or significant structural alteration of the heritage building and converting them into new landmarks. And through this policy, it eventually turned into a small luxury hotel that preserved the building. Apart from that, a bad example of the adaptive reuse of shophouses in this street was the two pictures shown on the left. As you can see, the entire shophouses were defaced and destroyed. It was then planned to rebuild as budget hotels, causing the original place identity to disappear. However, after years, the construction still hasn't progressed much, or it may have been delayed or abandoned. So now I will pass to Katie.
Thank you, JY. The second issue for question 1 is building schemes deviation. In this case, we focus mainly on the architecture style. So the problem here is the original building is reused for new purposes but renovated into architectural styles that do not blend in with the cultural aesthetics of the street. Besides that, the early traditional style is marked by signs of nature, and the shophouses' distinctive feature have been lost. The solutions here we provided are to maintain the exterior facade while new interior finishes are installed. This means that while the building's exterior retains its contextual characteristics, its interior has been given a whole different purposes. This approach to adaptive reuse avoids the inconvenience and added expense of demolishing the structure and rebuilding its structural system. Other than that, authorities concerned may plan a community workshop to educate a specific audience on current architecture and cultural landmarks. These courses can teach participants the fundamentals of historic preservation, gives an overview of the evolution of post-war architecture, offer guidance on how to identify threats or problems, find suitable replacement materials to preserve the authentic architectural appearance of mid-century homes, and more. So, for instance, a bad example given here is the Level 48 Hotel, as the original building was reused for a new purpose. Still, the new colorful painting on the facade does not blend into the cultural aesthetics of the street compared to the surrounding buildings. Next, we will pass to Jordan.
Thank you, Katie. After question 1, we will continue with question 2, which is what can be done to attract more locals to visit Jalan Tun Lee to strengthen the place identity. While going through our research, we found that the main problem that found that Jalan Tun Lee is getting less people developed at there is because of the locals disappear. There were just left few locals who visit and work there, causing the streets to be seen as a foraging worker streets. To overcome those problems, there are some solutions that we think that can help the difficulty faced in Jalan Tun Lee. The first one is organize some meaningful cultural activities, events and festivals to attract people come visit Jalan Tun Lee, such as Chinese New Year at Kwanti Temple and Thakusam at Sri Maharanam Temple. Within that, we also can take local workers instead of foreigners to preserve the identity of the place. We can make those local workers into groups of volunteers. Members collaborate into the research. Lastly, we also can establish local connection with organizations like advocacy groups, religious institutions, and social clubs, or some government departments such as Department of National Heritage and Badan Warisan Malaysia to attract more locals to visit Jalan Tun Lee. Next, I will pass to SJ.
Thank you, Jordan. Question number 3, which is what can be done to keep the local business continuously running to maintain the place identity. The issue that we face is community lifestyle change. Many local business declining or moving off the street because of bad business. To solve this issue, we come up some solutions which are advertise the local traditional shop house business to attract people to shop here and make sure the business growing well. Besides that, the cafe and shop in Jalan Tun Asli can create a profile in some major social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and more. An active profile will allow retailers to market their business better and interact with more potential customers. Furthermore, the new methods of business mode can be promoted. The traditional frame evolving to become digital business by using digital innovation to address customer need. For example, Chai Hua Xuan Trending and Lee Florist have created an attractive, easy to navigate, and highly functional website to transform traditional business into e-commerce. We can develop more customer base by conducting traditional business and e-business simultaneously. Now I will pass to Jingxi.
Thank you, Xiaojie. So I will proceed to the conclusion part. In conclusion, while modernizing is essential, preserving the heritage maintains an unique historical connection to the past. The heritage and building of district should always be our primary goal when undertaking conservation and restoration, work to maintain its place identity. Therefore, we should preserve the heritage for an ideal communal space by using certain ways, such as adaptive reuse of historical shophouses, to prevent them from being wiped out of existence and leaving no trace for future generations. Next slide is our reference part. These are the links that we refer to when finishing the research poster. Next slide. Nearly the end of our presentation. Hope you will gain an insight into the method of preservation and adaptive reuse of heritage shophouses in Jalan Tun Asli to preserve its place identity. Thank you for listening.